Madam Clerk.
Calling the roll for the reconvening and continuation of confirmation hearings for the executive appointment of Director of Law. Calling the roll, Mr. Greenspan.
Here.
Mr. Miller.
Present.
Mr. Brady.
Present.
Mr. Germana. Mr. Gallagher. Mr. Schron.
Here.
Ms. Conwell. Here. Mr. Jones.
Here.
Ms. Conley.
Here.
Mr. Rogers.
Here.
Ms. Simon.
Yeah, I want to correct the record, and this is the continuation of the confirmation proceeding. This is not the work session. The work session will start at the conclusion of the matters of confirmation. We were here on the 17th for hearings with Mr. Clifford. Mr. Clifford, would you come back to the podium, please? At the conclusion of the proceedings on the 17th, there were certain questions, and there were council persons that had additional questions of Mr. Clifford. And so, and there were some parliamentary discussions, and so we continued the hearing for further proceedings until today. And so the meeting has now come to order, and we will, we've officially called the roll, and there were some additional questions of various council persons, so I'll entertain any of those questions from council persons regarding, they can address to Mr. Clifford. Okay, there are no further questions?
Madam President, the only question I had was the opinion piece to go out and seek potentially, or get the opinion first.
Madam Chair.
Okay, I think Mr. Gallagher has a motion.
I'd make a motion seeking a legal opinion from the prosecutor regarding Mr. Clifford's qualifications.
And did you want to elaborate on that?
For law director. We have a concern.
Why don't I second it so you can get the...
Well, let me clarify this so we're very clear, because there seems to be opinions and streams of thought being considered as opinions. What we would like to do is as our charge in the charter, is to request an opinion from the law director regarding Mr. Clifford's qualifications. Does he qualify to be law director of Cuyahoga County as the charter states? There seems to be a question among council regarding that question, and quite honestly, that question alone, as far as I'm concerned. So I would make the motion to send this to the prosecutor for a legal opinion regarding Mr. Clifford.
Second.
It's moved by Mr. Gallagher and seconded by Mr. Schron. Is there any discussion on that?
Madam President, not on that point, but will we then continue the hearing, or will we suspend the hearing pending the outcome of the letter, out of the opinion?
My feeling would be that we would continue the hearing, okay, so that it would be left open, that we, at the conclusion of the hearing, we would have to make a referral to the county council for a vote. So I think it would be better to continue the hearing. We do have some time restraints because Mr. Clifford was nominated on February the 9th, and we have until March the 9th. We do have a meeting on March the 8th. So in anticipation of this, I talked about it earlier today. This is the question that we will address to the prosecutor's office: whether service as a municipal court magistrate qualifies as experience in advising or representing political subdivisions in Ohio as required for appointment as law director under Section 5.03 of the Cuyahoga County Charter. That's the question that we will address to the prosecutor's office. I will send this forthwith to Mr. Lambert, the Civil Division of the Prosecutor's Office, pursuant to Section 309.09 of the Revised Code. Ordinarily, as you know, the law director is the legal advisor and representative of the council and also of the county executive. However, if we were to ask the interim law director, it would obviously be a conflict of interest. put that person in a very difficult position. So then we would revert then to the revised code and seek the opinion of the prosecutor. If the prosecutor then chooses not to proceed for whatever reason, then the prosecutor has the option under Section 305.14 of the revised code to seek the approval of the common pleas court and then to seek outside counsel, at which time the prosecutor would provide the counsel with 3 to 4 names of counsel that we could select to obtain a legal opinion. So I would suggest that we, if there is we need to take a vote then on Mr. Gallagher's motion. But, yes.
Madam President, I as well would be in agreement with seeking an outside legal opinion regarding the qualification question, but it's my opinion that we are not bound to go to the prosecutor, and I would ask as well that we seek outside counsel outside of the prosecutor's office, outside with a different firm, to get an opinion there. I don't think we're bound or obligated to go to the prosecutor first. I don't think that it says that's our only option. If counsel would consider as well another opinion outside of the prosecutor, I think that would be wise.
I'm not really sure procedurally how we would do that, how we would select a firm, or how would we pay for that. I know that, if some law firm wanted to do it for us pro bono, I assume that we would entertain legal opinions from any valid organization or council that would want to provide it, I would assume. But I think that according to the statute, the county prosecutor is our option in terms of seeking a legal opinion, because the statute says that's our lawyer.
Madam President, I disagree on the interpretation of the statute, and I've disagreed respectfully from the beginning that indeed the prosecutor shall advise, but it does not say that that's our only advisor. There's nothing precluding us from seeking another opinion, which maybe this is a second motion that we need to deal with on the table, but I would like the liberty to seek outside of the prosecutor's office.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Mr. Gallagher.
I think maybe what would be helpful here is if, and I don't want to hold up the executive or Mr. Clifford, if we put a timeline of 48 hours on the request to the prosecutor, with the understanding that we still have the option to go outside, and it's not like I'm looking or we're shopping for an opinion. We're looking for a timely opinion that we can trust and to move forward. We honestly think what we have in front of us is not enough, which is the purpose behind the motion to get the prosecutor to make a decision on this. As I stated before, we're dealing with a charter that at times grabs us and shakes us, and we're looking to where to go here. And it seems that this council is a little concerned about qualifications and what's in the charter. So if we have a 48-hour timeline on the prosecutor so as to not hold you up, sir, or the executive, and then with the option, certainly, I think under the charter, that we could then go outside if indeed we weren't pleased with what we had. But I think what the prosecutor is going to deliver will take care of what our needs.
Madam President, to my colleague Gallagher, in fact, that's why I want to seek the mutual opinion simultaneously to avoid the appearance of forum shopping or opinion shopping. That's exactly what I'd like to avoid, is to have the ability to seek parallel opinions simultaneously rather than appear that there is any kind of shopping. So if I would be able to look into that within the next 48 hours, I would welcome council's assent to seek simultaneous opinion outside of the prosecutor.
Mr. Shrine?
Thank you, Madam President. But I think we could also, because of the nature of this as being first-time charter, first-time challenging this itself, there's no reason we could not also seek the Attorney General's opinion of the state of Ohio because of the nature of the charter itself, to try to get a secondary opinion.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
I don't think we should muddy the waters any more than we need to. Councilwoman Simon, I actually think that's a pretty good idea, because we do have what looks like and is seemingly briefed as a legal opinion, but we're uncomfortable with what we have in front of us. So to be fair, maybe that would be an option to do that, And once again, the opinion that's going to rule the day for us initially, because of the charter, would be the prosecutor up front. So that may be something to buffer what the prosecutor delivers to us.
Because my question, Ms. Simons, procedurally, how would we do that? Do we look in the phone book? I mean, how do we pick a law firm? And how do we pay that law firm?
I think, Madam President, there's a lot of law firms that are in our community that have knowledge about specific issues related to charter, or even perhaps in Summit County where they've faced some of these issues as well. In terms of cost, I'm hopeful that somebody out there will be able to render an opinion without charging us an arm and a leg. And I'll do the due diligence in the next couple days.
So we're going to, we need to call, is there any other discussion on this motion? Mr. Duran?
Madam Chair, when I received the email about a number of members of council requesting a legal opinion, I suggested the Attorney General mainly because I too thought that it'd probably be referred to the county prosecutor. Now, we have these issues between the prosecutor and the law director. We're still hashing out who's going to cover what and the different scope. There seems to be a question on what the prosecutor can rule on and what the legal counsel could rule on. And that's why I was suggesting the Attorney General to take it so that there's no conflict. It's out of the arena, and it has the bigger look at it. So that was the reason I suggested Attorney General.
Well, I just think that we still have to give the prosecutor the first right to decline. So if we can't proceed until the prosecutor says yay or nay, right? Is there any other discussion? And I think we're going to make this perfectly clear. The reason for raising the question certainly does not reflect on the extremely capable resume and qualifications that Mr. Clifford has, but strictly a legal question that we are concerned about, that we need this clarification on before we can take a vote. Is there any other discussion?
Madam President?
Yes.
I just quickly, in terms of other options, because I appreciate what the council's talking about doing as far as expediting this, because it's important for us, especially with all the issues that have gone on between us and the prosecutor's office, to have a quick resolution to this. But just as an added alternative, sometimes other law departments will provide an opinion for another city. And I think if you asked other surrounding communities' law departments, you might be able to get them to do an expedited opinion. You could ask the city of Cleveland. You could ask City of Lakewood. I could make sure you get an unbiased opinion from them. No, but it might be another set of options. My experience, by the way, with the attorney generals is they're very professional and they take their time. I mean, I can tell you from a city point of view, we've waited quite a bit of time sometimes. So, in terms of understanding how time sensitive this is, that might be an option that you might avail yourselves of.
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. That's fine. All right. Do we need to call the roll then, Mr.
So
Gallagher?
what I would
All right.
what I would do, because we don't have a second on that, could I change the motion to? Well, did you second it?
I did. Sorry about that, but I'll hear what your changes.
What I would like to do then is to request a legal opinion regarding Mr. Clifford's nomination to law director of Cuyahoga County, with the understanding that we would pick three law departments within Cuyahoga County and give the prosecutor and the three law departments 48 hours to deliver opinions to the council, at which time we would then set a confirmation hearing through the process that the chair would determine.
Madam Council President.
Mr. Brady.
Thank you. I am not comfortable with this many options. I am willing to support a motion to ask the prosecutor to give us an opinion on this issue. Councilman mentioned muddying the waters a few minutes ago. Some people have mentioned the Attorney General. Some people have mentioned private counsel. And now we've got 3 law departments on the table. I'm really only interested in supporting a motion that asks the law department for an opinion. The prosecutor for the opinion. It's just, to me, it's clear. And it's something that I've thought through and that I'm willing to support. And I would have to listen to quite a bit of discussion before I'd be willing to support the motion, your new motion.
Then I'll withdraw that. And we'll go on the first one with the prosecutor.
Is it, the Supreme Court, you can file amicus briefs. If any other law department wishes to supply, or any of the law firm wishes to supply information, I think they're free to.
Madam President, I don't think anyone is precluded from doing that.
No.
Because we have an unsolicited opinion through the executive, and I would imagine that if there are individuals out there that have an opinion on this, this is probably our most important selection and confirmation, and we want to get this right. So I would imagine that is certainly on the table.
Just as I'm sorry, Madam President, if I may. Yes, in any event, so why not just seek an opinion from the prosecutor without going through this process then, if we're free to seek legal opinions?
Well, I believe it's mandatory because of the statute that says that the county prosecutor is our lawyer. I just don't know how we get around that.
Well, I don't know if it's a question of getting around it. It's a question of an interpretation of the statute, and I don't believe it's mutually exclusive. I don't think we have to rely, as I stated, entirely on the prosecutor's office for this particular opinion or any other opinion.
And once we get an opinion from the prosecutor's office, counsel persons are still free to vote their conscience. They vote when you get this opinion. You use this in determining, but then you vote the way you want to vote. I think. Are we ready to proceed on the motion? Let's call a roll on that motion.
Madam President, I apologize. Did the motion include the 48-hour directive? No, it didn't.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. Thank you.
Madam
Yes,
President, on the basis that it did not include the 48 hours, which is what I also recall, the one question I would ask the prosecutor, in addition to the legal question, is what happens, if any, to the tolling of any of the 30-day time window while it's under consideration for the time it leaves here. If it does not do anything to the tolling of the time limit, then other decisions might have to be taking place for votes and things of that nature, just so we don't actually back into a confirmation that where we've not considered all the facts.
The chair is very aware of the time constraints that we're facing. The last day we have for the confirmation would be March the 8th, and we have a meeting on March the 8th.
But it's not clear as to if within that 30-day window, whether there would be a break of that 30-day window to go out and seek legal opinion.
I don't believe there's any provisions for any kind of waiver, or it says 30 days, it's 30 days, because I had thought about the option of maybe getting a waiver from the executive or saying the time is tolled, but it says 30 days, and I don't think there's any other. 30 days is 30 days. I don't think we have any other loophole.
Madam Chair?
Yes. Ms. Simon?
I think 30 days continues. There's no provision for a stay, but I don't know if I'm able to support this motion exclusively relying on the memo from the prosecutor. I would have been in favor of this in accordance with my colleague Gallagher's amended motion.
So the motion that we now have is to seek the opinion of the prosecutor. All right, is there any other discussion on this? All right, Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Calling the roll, Ms. Simon?
No.
Mr. Greenspan?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Germana?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr. Schron?
Yes?
Ms. Conwell?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Conley?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, motion carries 10-1. All right, we will then proceed to get a memo to the prosecutor's office for a determination. And I would suggest that we then continue these proceedings till March the 1st, which would be next Tuesday, assuming that we could get a clarification from the prosecutor's office within that time. Is there any objection to continuing the proceeding? Mr. Clifford, is there anything you'd like to say?
Yes, Madam Chairman, I would just request that the question that goes to the prosecutor be revised to, instead of saying a magistrate, saying the chief magistrate of the Cleveland Municipal Court.
Okay. All right. Do we need a motion to continue?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I move that we adjourn this meeting to a time certain next Tuesday, March the 1st at 4 p.m.
Right. Is there a second? Second. I've been moved by Mr. Miller, second by Ms. Conwell. Any discussion? Mr. Germana?
I don't know if this is debatable, but I was going to ask I wanted to ask a question about the amount of formal opinions that Mr. Clifford did render for the court.
Why don't we rule on that? Then, if you want to ask another question, that's just about his credentials. Let's have a roll call on this, then we can ask you free to ask your question.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. You're right. If you're adjourning the meeting, we're adjourning. Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Germana. I'm sorry. Gallagher didn't kick me under the table here.
Okay, I won't kick you. I'll just tap you.
Okay.
I was trying to remember what the first confirmation hearing, as far as your experience in advising the Cleveland Municipal Court, and I don't know if it was ever stated if you ever gave formal legal opinions to the municipal court, and if you had, I was just wondering about how many and what areas were they covering, because of course law directors got so many different areas that may come to getting opinion. Mr. Clifford.
Madam Chair, Mr. Germana, yes, I've over the years with the Cleveland Municipal Court issued many opinions on various legal issues coming before the Cleveland Municipal Court on statutes, laws, cases, Supreme Court decisions, various areas within the law, contracts, torts, criminal law. It's a lot of varied issues that are handled by the municipal court. And I've issued opinions to help clear up issues before the court and issues, procedural and administrative issues also.
Madam Chair, these are formal legal opinions?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Madam President. And who would have requested these formal legal opinions?
Legal opinions would come from the judges, the court administrator.
Thank you.
Mr. Greenspan?
Madam President, we're asking questions now as we're continuing, or are we going to defer until next week?
We're going to adjourn, but I think if there are additional questions, it would be great to have them now, because that will give everybody additional information.
All right, great. Well, I have a few, if you don't mind. Thank you. Mr. Clifford, a couple questions. I know the Squire Sanders letter that we were presented was very explicit, and it says that you had not represented the two criteria in the charter, advising and representing. It stated that you had not represented a political subdivision, but that you did provide advice, and this, I believe, is the line that Mr. Germana was working towards. So the advice that you've given was to the court itself, not to the city of Cleveland. Is that, or have you? Let me rephrase the question. Have you given advice to the city of Cleveland?
The advice I gave was to the Cleveland Municipal Court.
Court. Okay, very good. Following along my last week when I asked specific areas of law if you had experience, and I now have the job description for the Director of Law, and I just wanted to ask some of those same areas again, because I was kind of writing them down as I was asking the question. But the job responsibilities for the Director of Law, and you've answered the legal support on legislation, that you have no experience in legislation nor human resource issues. Civil litigation, have you any experience in civil litigation?
Yes, sir, and also in dealing with human resource issues at the court.
At the court,
Yes, sir.
but no human resource legal issues.
No litigation in human resources, no.
Okay. But obviously in managing staff, you have experience in human resource matters, but not human resource litigation.
Managing staff, well, the only litigation would be in terms of dealing with grievances in-house.
Okay.
You conduct those hearings for grievances in-house, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any experience in the issuance of debt, legal
No, sir.
matters, real estate,
No, sir.
environmental law?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Gallagher?
Just one question. I think this really gets to the heart of where I'm having a problem. In your opinion, is the Cleveland Municipal Court a political subdivision?
Yes, sir, it is.
In your opinion, it is?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, any other discussion? We do have a motion to continue this matter on the floor. All right, Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Ms. Simon?
Yes.
Mr. Greenspan?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Germana?
Yes.
Gallagher? Mr. Schron?
Yes.
Ms. Conwell?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Conley?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
All right, we will see you next Tuesday.
Thank you.
All right. All right, we are, now we can call the roll for we have adjourned our confirmation hearings and we will start our work session. So do we need to call the roll again? Okay.
Where is George?
We have an agenda somewhere for the work session.
If you could give us.
George has it.